Hey guys, it's Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and we are doing the Wild Bill Zelensky murder board. Let's see if I can get this done and, be all of the semi professional YouTuber that I am. So let's switch cameras because, again, we are just all the awesome. Let's see if I've got that. Do well, listen, one day I will be as awesome as David. I I apologize. I am working on having, bigger handwriting. I was the girl that you went to for, for notes because I took all of the notes, but it was always in, like, point .5 font. So, when you missed a day, I definitely was the one that you went to, all the Sailor Moon, but, you had to have a magnifying glass. You did. So we will start with our main players, or player, if you will, in our Wild Times at Billmont High, if you will. And poor Bill, our main player, he gave major creep vibes before he testified because he did. Poor guy. He definitely, as I said in the trial, if you watch it or you go back to watch it, would be definitely one of those guys that I would have profiled in Walmart and gone the other way. I would have assumed that he had, a Buffalo Bill sort of, you know, well in the back of his house. And yeah. So he was a former police officer. Now it was alluded to by Kathy Bates from Misery, defense attorney, or not defense attorney, state's attorney, that he was kind of, you either resign or you're going to be fired, um, kind of thing. He was a former officer. He kind of, it was sort of a rambling story, but I gather that he always had a fascination with animals, leaning toward reptiles, and sort of fell into becoming an exotic and s skewing towards venomous, uh, or more dangerous reptile dealer/owner. Slash owner. I don't know. He married April and started dating Tiffany at ReptileCon, which I didn't even know was a thing, but now I must go see because if it involves a group of people like Bill, the fodder for streams and the what in the Walmart cringe will be hilarious. Unfortunately for him, and us, it's never the throuple you want to see, so he is in a throuple with, Tiffany, who we'll go over after April, with, Tiffany, the method actor, if you read between the lines, and April, the most beige lady in all of humanity. Now, Bill also owned the apartment that Tiffany lived in and the storefront and/or shop on Main Street where I guess he placed his more tame animals. Now, on October 15th, 2020, weapons venomous, not poisonous. So, Bill actually explained the difference, and apparently there is a difference according to Salbert and Bill. Venomous animals are animals that will inject venom right into your bloodstream. Poisonous, you have to ingest into your dietary look, they explained it, go watch the daggone stream, but it's important. It's all the important. And the most dangerous the most egregious thing is that booze was stolen. I think their Tanqueray or gin was stolen. Now, the police did find and arrest Riley and his friend Ashton, but they were released on their own recognizance because of the mysterious virus of unknown origin. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, Bill was given kind of a clue as to where his animals could be on October 19th, 2020, but he ran into Riley going about the same place, and they got into a confrontation. According to Bill, he claims that he shot Riley in self-defense. Now, April is Bill's doggone it. I have to keep remembering that it's opposite way. Bill April is Bill's legal wife. She watched Rowan the night of the incident, Tiffany's younger minor son. I have all the questions. I don't know if they're sister wives. I don't know if she just didn't care. The woman was so beige on the stand. She was the first witness. Y'all, she was so beige. The only jury question was, "Can we start to deliberate now?" And Judge Giant Man with dead animal on his head that was resembling a toupee said no. Now, sadly for Bill and all of us, she filed for divorce, so she is going to be in the single dating, thing, so men watch out. Um, Now Tiffany, was actually a co-defendant in this case. She was charged. She is the mother of both Riley and Rowan. She is also a method actress, if you know what I mean. She is a guest of the state because she was charged with pointing the shotgun at her son Riley. She is the third part of this Three's Company from Kmart. She testified against Bill, stating he had no reason to fear her son. However, her son had threatened to, start a rumble in the streets with her, um, because she didn't want him coming to her apartment because of the coof. She was very afraid of the coof. It was, 2020, and no one was really that, really understood what was going on. For some reason, again, she and April shared custody of Rowan. I have no words. I do not understand. She did undercross know and affirm that Riley did have a bad and violent temper and had charges of domestic violence against his partner and the mother of his child. Then we get down to doo-doo-doo. Oh, for the love of Cheetos. Come on. You can do it. Oh, for and do alright. So, Riley was 18 years old at the time of the crime. He did have 1 child. He had 1 charge of domestic violence. He was known to have a violent temper. These were things that, Wild Bill did know contemporaneously to the time of the incident. Uh, so, these are things that would have been going through his mind. Now, the jury did not see it in this light, and just like with the Darren Rupin Lopez case, there is a double-edged sword of bringing in former military and or police training. I mean, if you bring in these past, skills and knowledge, you can be held to, a higher standard even though you're not supposed to be. If the jury feels like you should have been able to handle this much easier or you should have been able to use a higher skill set, then, it really is a double-edged sword. Um, he did, again, threaten to fight his mother for not allowing him to come into the house. Uh, again, he did take weapons from Bill. So he, stole several guns that were in a lockbox in Bill's car. And God love him, Bill had, like, a supernatural fighting the evil dead arsenal in his car, like, baseball bats, a pickaxe. For the love of God, these people could not figure out what the hell this thing was, but it was a pickaxe. Like, 70 bajillion knives. It looked like a swap meet from a doomsday prepper on on the evidence table. And he stole and y'all, I know that they probably used the fish tanks and everything, but all I can see is these 2 not too smart robblers, as my son would call them, putting these venomous or, dangerous animals down their pants to run away from, their, home and stealing them, but they stole a gaboon viper, which I think is the most venomous snake in the world, a beaded Mexican lizard, which is also a venomous animal, and an alligator. He was also shot by Bill, during a scuffle or a brawl, as we have learned was a word from the Travis Rudolph case. Now, the beginnings of this kind of fight were captured by a Ring doorbell, and you can definitely see Riley running my hand, Riley running towards Wild Bill aggressively, then running towards the car. So, in my mind, I thought that they would see the self-defense. The defense did a wonderful job of showing, that Riley had his hands on the weapon, that there was a scuffle going on, but the jury did not see it that way, and sometimes that just happens. I mean, the juries are, as Bronca says, a wild, crazy, unknowing thing. Rowan, again, is the minor son of Tiffany. He was being watched by April. His bedtime was 9:30, so I believe that was about the time that, uh, they were Bill and Tiffany were going out, and stated Bill went off that night to find Riley and the animals. Again, the animals were very dangerous. Bill, when you get when he got on the stand, you could tell he was very passionate about those animals. He was also very scared because these are very dangerous animals. If they're handled incorrectly, you can have, deaths. The animals could die. And again, you could tell he was just very passionate about those animals. Oh, for the love of Cheetos. Come on back. You can do it. All right, Ashton is the co-robbler, as my son would say. Uh, Again, with this brain trust, I'm surprised neither was envenomated. Uh, so they stashed these animals in his mother's basement. Ashton, I don't believe testified. I believe I watched the entire case, but I think there was a little bit that I missed. His mother, however, won the award for the most, felony convictions in a witness for this case, and I believe it was 26. So, I will be sending her certificate, as soon as she gets out from being a guest of the state. The mother contacted There is a wild web of people in, like, this unbranching circle or stick of a family tree of this this thing. Murph's Turf did a great job of making this web of Walmart that this case is, but, somehow it got back to Bill that she was going to release these animals into the wild, as you do. Just a gaboon viper, a Mexican bearded lizard, and a crocodile or an alligator. I know there's a difference, I just don't know. So, yeah, that was what she was gonna do, and Bill kinda said, "No, I'm going to go get them." Now, both mother and son are guests of the state. Mother took the stand and basically said, "Yeah, I called Bill and said, 'Hey, I really want these out of here, come get them.'" Uh, you know, and the boys being, super duper smart, took photos with both the booze and the guns that they had burgled because that's always the greatest. Oh, yes, I covered that already. I write things down and then I realize I cover them earlier. Um, Ashton, though, on a positive note, and I know I kind of tend to be tongue in cheek, Ashton apparently is doing really well on trying to go to rehab and work really hard on, overcoming his addiction and doing the right thing this time. So I really hope that for his sake, he's turning his life around and making better choices. And hopefully this has been an unfortunate shock to his system, losing his friend like this, but this will help him make better life choices. Now, the crime, I will say his defense attorney did a great job with the timeline. However, I think that the state, th while I didn't find the state convincing at all, the the jury obviously did when they stated that Bill could have just gone to get the animals right away. He didn't have to confront Riley at all. Regardless of having seen them or seen him on the way, he could have simply gone to get the animals. And unfortunately, that's the truth. And regardless of how I feel about it being self-defense and that kind of thing, the jury chose what the jury chose. That being said, when you do put in all the facts, I think there was a case for self-defense. DNA did show that Riley did have a hold of the gun, and at portions of the gun, the defense had a wonderful demonstrative that showed that he had hold of the gun at places where had he gotten, had he wrested that gun out of control, he could have possibly and potentially offered great bodily harm to either Bill or his mother. He also went to Bill's car. Riley knew that there were mountains of weapons in that car. Now, Riley couldn't drive stick shift, that's correct, but he could also go through the arsenal. I mean, the state made a big point that there were no weapons in the front driver's seat, but there were weapons all throughout that car that weren't in the front seat. And Riley would have kind of intimate knowledge of that since his mother had been dating, Wild Bill. So again, the state argued regardless that Bill made the decision that when he saw Riley, he stopped the car to confront Riley. And, at the end of the day, that's the truth. He did stop. He did stop. They could have gone into that. I mean, the likelihood is had they stopped at the house where they were going to get the animals, there would have probably been a confrontation there. I have no doubt that that's where the confrontation would have been, and that is the end of the murder board, so I will talk to you here now. Ta-da! It's me, Mario. No, I'm just kidding. I have no doubt that had they just gone to the house where they were going to pick up the animals, there would have still been that confrontation and probably a bunch more actors, and it would have gotten much more ugly. But people trusted the state, and it is what it is at this point. Life comes down to the small decisions that you make, and while I don't agree with it, that's what the state proved to this jury. So, the next video you guys will see will be me watching the sentencing and listening to the victim impact statements because regardless of how I feel about Riley and look, a mother lost her son, a young child lost his father. They all lost the potential for this young man who wasn't doing the right things to have the opportunity to grow up to be a good person. Because we are all some level of jackass in our early 20s. We just are. I mean, even if you're a good person, you are some level of ridiculous in your early 20s. You just are because you're learning yourself. But at the end of it, I unfortunately, the jury just didn't agree with, those of us who were watching the trial, and, after Wild Bill testified, we kinda liked him. So, that is today's murder board, and I will probably start looking for the next trial, and next time I see you, we will be doing the sentencing. So, have a great day, and if no one has told you today, "You're kind of weird," might not be for everyone, but it will be awesome for someone, and it is okay here, so have a great day.